Wimmer. Thank you. Well, digitization, data. In this context, my company is very active as well. My company, Outdoor. We want to conceive a platform where we bring the different actors in tourism together. And of course, we are driven by data. We work for several thousands of destinations in 15 countries. And we made many, many experiences with digitization. All we know and all that is coming in tourism will be digital. We have been talking about content and digitization, and I will continue with these two subjects as well. That things are changing. The world as we know it, the customs that we have, the marketing behavior, all this will change. And the systems we talk about today will undergo considerable changes in the next years, as it was the case with the internet during the last 20 or 30 years. And we now, for example, can search in the internet, which was not possible at the very beginning. We have mobile applications now, and this has changed our behavior. And this is also how will continue in the future. Just some examples to illustrate what I am talking about. If you use a search engine today, it is no longer a simple search engine searching in the web and giving you information, but it is giving also specified answers. So the tourism websites, as we know it, are read by the machine, and the machine can then answer directly to your question, which is also the case for the different robots as Alexa, Siri, and so on. These will completely change our behavior. It is an expression of the opinion of the market. We talk a lot about these devices. They cannot answer all our questions, but we believe that this is front end, and we will have more and more to deal with these devices. So in the future, we will not only talk about search engine optimization, but also more and more about voice assistance. We will be able to ask very simple questions, easy questions, and get also complex answers from an individualized digital machine in a much more specified manner than we get the answers today via the search engines. The big guys are constructing their own data banks, and they also build what we call travel guides. As for example, if you're looking for a certain hotel, you do not get the hotel website, but you get the answer via a bigger platform, or you get the answer via Google directly. Then we have travel apps for all the big players: Google, Facebook, Airbnb, Booking.com. All these have their own applications, TripAdvisor, Expedia, and so on, and they're all gathering data. And not only data for their own business purposes. For example, in TripAdvisor, you do not only get hotel evaluation, but also user data. Evaluation of other portals and from professional sources. All this is then mixed up, and all these people, all these platforms try to link the user to their platform and to keep the user as long as possible on this platform. So all these people want a maximum value creation, and to do so they need a maximum amount of data. Outdooractive, we also have conceived such a travel guide We are rather small. We're maybe not that popular. We work for 3,500 destinations worldwide, which means that we are sort of an intermediate company distributing information on different forms of channels. The big guys have the big money. Those who, for example, sell rental cars, accommodations, the travel itself, they offer a bookable content, as we have already seen this morning, and all sorts of experiences also that you could book after the actual travel. And we want to offer cartography, because we said that anybody doing outdoor activities needs a map. The information is located on a map with the points of interest, with events, with tours and so on. So all this already today is gathered on one single platform. We use, of course, data from big platforms. The tourism destination if they do not think any longer in a traditional way, we have to follow them. They need new possibilities to measure their results. It's not whether they're via their own website. And the marketing that we have been doing during the last 20 years does not work anymore today. This is one example. These are my children. And I asked them at Christmas what they are doing with their applications and their devices. None of them is using a desktop, maybe when they're working. They all only use their smartphones. And then, by the way, I also understood what is the difference between Generation Z, Generation Y, and the Millennials. 5 years difference between these three different generations. And these are the apps they are using. And all the information that we use in tourism marketing, and we try to describe in tourism marketing, has to be in these apps, because otherwise people will not find them. So the user decides what tools they want to use, how they make their decision for their travel, and how they how they get information about their travel. So if we want to do marketing, if we want to praise the advantages of a tourism destination, we must be part of these applications. We have to be in it. Otherwise, we will not be found. And if you think of marketing behavior, internet behavior of people nowadays, we see that a desktop application will no longer work, because marketing behavior of people has changed, marketing systems have changed. We all know and like certain forms of marketing, but we cannot use them any longer, forget about them. This is what worries us most at the moment, or occupies us most at the moment. It was the same with social media. Social media is dead. These destination sites, the enterprise websites, all had a link with Facebook, and now the leader of Facebook himself, he said this will no longer be rolled out only if you pay for it. Then this is a clear message. These platforms are now indispensable, and you only can generate traffic if you pay. What can you do as a destination or a destination seller? You have to generate your own content. Content, what is content? It's the entire information, digitization of information, and we also must no longer think in projects or in products or in campaigns. We have to think, so to speak, in data and in solutions. This means that we need a central data bank, a central tourism data bank. Because only if we have all the information in just one data bank, we can do database, we can do what we call distribution. In the past, the website was what it was all about. The website was the pivoting element of destination management, and then we tried really to put all the information on the website and to base our campaign on the website. Now we say that things are changing. Today, it is the database that it is the center of our interest. And we have to have all the information in the database, and then you add the website as the channel to get into contact with the database. It can also be an app. It's not necessarily a website. It can be APIs, Amazon, Alexa, whatever. That is the new logic behind this information management. You need to have a semantic database, a well-structured database, international. It has to be offered in several languages. Then you can distribute information via the APIs, via interfaces to all the channels. This is the basis of destination management. Destination management is no longer just the website for the tourist. The tourist will not look at it. Only a very small percentage of travel decisions are made via the destination website. The visitor, the traveler, only consumes, so to speak, part of the destination. There are many other people being part of this destination, people who live there, partners, hotels, enterprises, companies. All these, you have to bring them together and to use the local tips of the people living there in your database. This will be what we have to do in the future. And I also believe that we have to bring together user data. We talked about personalization. Personalization is only possible if we know the user. Only if we know the user and if he or she gives us data and we can use this, or we're allowed to use this data in line with data protection regulation, then we can regionalize our offers. There are two sorts of data today. The data we get as a travel guide, the description of the world, a digital description of the world, and then data of users that we can usually find in customer relation management systems, in booking tools. So these two things often do not know each other, so to speak. They do not communicate. So we believe that we have to bring together these two elements, and only if we know what our customer, our guest uses, and we can offer these information in just one database, only then it will be possible to correctly address the user. We know where he was, we can see him in the right context, and the right moment we can give him the right information. So this is how we do things today. The user is at the center of our attention, user-centric approach, and then many details that we create day after day, the content, the different interfaces. But the interfaces and technology change. Next year they are different ones than this year. So it is an ongoing process, and the only thing that is always the same is our guest, our visitor, his or her interest, and the data, and the travel guide data. Digital data of the world, so to speak. So there we have many tools, mechanisms, also data evaluation, reportings. It's not only the traditional reporting on a website, it is reporting of a destination. And that is something that is done via many channels, thousands of channels, and we try to get back this information and to bring it into just one reporting tool. This is the only way to have a pristine experience, an original experience. It is about digitization of your travel experience. So here things come together. And this is how we do personalization, individualization at present. We ask questions, what are his preferred regions, what is his favorite activity, but in the end you don't have to ask this question because he's showing us with his behavior. We know what websites he clicked on, and if he used his smartphone we know also where he or she was. We know what he used, what he has for example done when he was at the hotel. Did he go to the pool? We can put it on his profile side, we can put it in our database. If somebody always is interested in skiing, no need to show him information about mountain biking. We can give him on his starting page already information about skiing. So he will get exactly the content that is custom made for him. Because nobody today wants to search for content on his smartphone, content that you're not even interested in. The information, the data exchange will get closer. We have also a possibility to get on the application the guest cards, the skiing tickets, the health devices. All these apps give us information on the user. And if we can combine these data in a smart way, of course, with the consent of the user in just one database, then we can offer services. Obviously, we do not that to bother the user. It is to help our users. And these integrated systems, in the end, can offer a better service on site, At present, for example, maybe a guest only gets information on marketing, but if he gets to a trail that is stopped and that is blocked and he gets there after an hour, it would be good to have this information before, and he would not have chosen this path. That's the same, for example, for a tree lying on a trail. The path manager, the tourism director knows about it, and then we can transfer this information to our guests. This is just one hands-off example how we can link things via a digital platform. This is just one screenshot from our databases. Use of a bicycle trail network in Germany. This is just one of the examples what we can get as a result from our database. Of course, we can only do it if somebody has already planned a trip with bike. If they use apps, APIs, it's always the same image, the same example. We can combine this information, and we can also see where, for example, people are particularly welcoming for people doing bike tours, what hotels, what accommodations welcome these travelers. We can link them to people doing hikes or walking in the mountains or whatever. We can do reports on that as to offer a better service and a better experience to our customers and guests. This was the development of our own company. We have started with planning. This is exactly what our customers do to develop destinations. At the beginning we did plannings, projects, descriptions, certifications, and then you needed tools. You needed interactive booking systems, for example, event calendars. Today, even we still use these technologies and these on one website. But unfortunately, this does not lead to a management of data in a holistic way, and it is not a holistic approach for the user either. So now we use digital solutions as a service, platforms that are accessible for our customers, and we want to create a comprehensive experience for the user with only one digital product. The entire service chain must be digital, and it is a service for destinations. Because today nobody can any longer manage all these tasks that you have to fill to manage a destination. This would be the task of a digital system. And you cannot be a specialist in SEO, in new technologies, in data protection, security, open data, technical reporting. All these are technical services that you can offer as just one solution, and this is what we want to do. And then we have more time for the destination, to deal with the real subject, to deal with the guest, the service provider, how we can offer an accommodation to our guests, how we can assure quality, how we can develop our products and our brand, how we can enlarge our brand. This is one of the tasks of tourism people. And all that is already digital can be also in a digital system. This is just one example from Thuringia. There are many advisors that have developed this manual in Thuringia, a concept for hiking. This is the blue one. What they all described here. If we offer is the only thing that we are doing is digital systems, and what they cannot do in digital systems, we can't do it either. And at the very right side, what you can see in green, is what is not already here. The user data bank, what will follow what is already here now. The degree of fulfillment, what these systems can already do today, and what we are working at, and what we can do in the next years for our customers. This brings me to the end. Thank you very much for your attention, and then at our booth you can ask us questions. Thank you very much.